Hey, what's good, everybody? It is me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, and I am joined by my co-host, Rebellious D.
Hey, everybody.
And the trash man himself, Trav.
Right, baby.
And on today's review, we are reviewing Wonder Woman 1984, and we brought on a friend of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Mr. Paul Workman from the Oscar Worsty Podcast. How you doing, Paul?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Paul, why
I'm
you
doing
look
all
so
right.
serious, bro?
Who?
Do I?
Paul looking dead serious right now.
Oh, I didn't mean to, man.
Paul, you
there
should have
it
said.
is.
Paul, you should have
Thanks for
just
the
said
smile,
glasses.
Paul. There it is.
You know, if you smile big, you can't feel your tongue.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't feel my lips right now.
I bet.
I had
What?
I had a dentist appointment earlier today, and they numbed the right side of my mouth, so I can't feel anything.
At least you ain't getting pulled, like when you had to talk to Katara.
Kataro? Did you call him Kataro?
Nah, I called him Kataro.
Nah, you called him Kataro.
You talking about
Like
Rennis?
Kentaro.
You talking about Rennis?
Nah.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
put some respect on Renessa's name, man.
Oh, okay.
Put some respect on it.
Well, you always
but
call him
anyway,
Rennis.
anyway, with all jokes aside, let's go ahead and get into this review. But before we do that, make sure that you like and subscribe to the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks YouTube channel, so that way that you can keep up with your boys, the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks crew. So, Wonder Woman 1984, it takes place 66 years after the first Wonder Woman movie. And the movie opens up with a flashback of Diana as a kid. Now, when I saw this flashback when I was first watching the movie, I was hoping that it was going to lead to something in the movie later on, but I feel like it only served the purpose of showing the golden armor, which at the same time, it's like they could have did a better job just showing the golden armor without having that whole flashback. Paul, how did you feel about that flashback at the start of the movie?
I was a real big fan of the flashback. I thought it really set up Diana as a character and what she was going to go through in this, on how she can't just cut corners to get what she needs to do, and instead that she's got to go by the book and treat people fairly, and that's what's going to make her a successful person in the end. And I thought it was really a running theme throughout the film.
Now, I get where you're coming at with that, because I did pick that up in the flashback when I can't remember the character's name. What was it? Apanita? I believe was her name.
Robin Wright's character.
Yes. I believe that, that's what she told Diana when she was a kid, but it's like, I kind of feel like that really didn't serve a purpose in the movie, like towards the end, if that makes any sense.
But I mean, essentially throughout the rest of the film, she wishes for the thing she wants the most on a rock that takes the thing she treasures most from her. So here she is again, cutting corners to get what she wants, and it's costing her big.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a theme that gets wrapped up with everything else.
Yeah, it really did cost her big, because she ended up sleeping with a man who was unconscious.
Yeah. That is one of the regrettable moments of this film.
So, D, same question. How did you feel about the opening to the movie?
It was okay. It was typical, something that you see flashbacks all the time with people learning something or going through some sort of trial, bro. It just seemed run of the mill to me, personally. That's all I got. Trav?
I don't need that metaphor BS, bro. Paul, you can take those metaphors and cut corners out of here.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really
Nah,
good to make
bro.
all my talking on here short.
the scene itself, I liked it. I dug it. It's one of the better scenes of the movie to me personally. I
That's
know
true.
as we get more into us talking about it, we'll probably bring up the fact that the studio wanted her to cut either that or the mall scene.
Yeah.
And for her reasoning to be like, we needed a way to introduce Wonder Woman to the audience as a reason as to why we have this scene is just so stupid. Like, you don't introduce a character in the second movie.
I agree
Yeah.
with.
Like, she's already introduced.
Yeah, we
So-
saw her. she was introduced in Batman versus Superman. We saw her in Justice League.
How many times we got to introduce her?
But
Yeah.
you're seeing her now in a different world. Because I mean, this is 66 years after the last time you saw her, and a good 30 plus years before the next time you see her.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It gives more on the backstory of Diana as a child, opposed to all of the times that we saw her as a grown woman. But yeah, so Trav, like you were saying about either the mall scene had to be cut or this scene had to be cut. I honestly would have preferred if the Themyscira scene was cut and they just started straight with the mall scene, because the mall scene is like, well, not just the mall scene in general, but like the whole opening after that, where it shows 1984, you see people in leggings and stuff, you get those 80s vibes. I feel like that the movie just started that way to let you know that we're in the 80s, because it's like after that, it's like I really don't feel like
wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's like after that, it's like I kind of feel like it's not in the 80s after that anymore, for real. I mean, because it's like they're going all over the world and whatnot, and we're seeing all of these different parts of the world. And I feel like that the mall scene is the only time where it really feels like it's an 80s movie. D, how do you feel about once it transitioned from Themyscira to the mall scene?
The mall scene, to me, watching like a ton of like, I gotta compare it to Marvel movies, man. It just seemed very clunky, you know, and just like the choreographics and stuff. It didn't work for me. I mean, that's all I can really say. It just looked clunky. It's the only way I can really compare it. Yeah, Trav, back me up.
Well, me and Paul talked about this before, but Paul didn't have the same feelings as I did. I think the cinematography in this movie is trash camera work, in my opinion. Yeah. And you're right though, that the whole entire mall scene to me is clunky.
Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It just seems clunky.
Flow nice together. It just doesn't flow nice together. Exactly. And it's hard not to compare it to Marvel, because
yeah, I know. That's what we've known for, the past 10 years plus.
Yeah, so and you'll see, it's just gonna be me and D saying this sucks, and then Paul being like, no, this is why it doesn't.
I like this argument though, Paul.
That's why you brought me on here. You knew this was
why,
right.
Paul, this is why I needed you up here, because I know that y'all saw my post when the movie came out on Christmas Day. I actually enjoyed Wonder Woman. I enjoyed it more than the first movie.
I thought
the villains were a lot more better than the villain that we got in the first movie with Ares. I thought the CGI for certain scenes were a lot better than other scenes in the movie. But Paul, same question for you. How did you feel when it transitioned from Themyscira to the mall? Well, just the whole opening going into the mall.
See, you guys are comparing it all to the wrong movies, because Marvel doesn't hold a candle to what this scene reminded me of. And that was the Richard Donner 1978 Superman. It's silly, it's fun, it's cheesy, and it's just a good time. And I felt like I was transported back to that kind of earnest goofiness of the 70s Superman movies.
Paul, with that being said, you compared it to the old Superman movies, and that's fine, but that was what, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
So it's just doesn't.
And I watched those films earlier. Like, it was one of the first things my wife and I did during the pandemic was watch all the old Superman movies, all the old Batman movies.
Okay.
1978 Superman is still better than, I'm going to say, 100% of anything Marvel has ever done.
That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement.
Because
you can say what you want, but it was
no.
You come on the pod.
That's fine.
Get him, D.
Everybody gets their opinion, but to me, filmmaking in general comes down to how do you adapt to the new times? How are you making this appeal to newer generations? And that's fine, because you grew up with those just as well as most of us have watched them. And that's what it comes down to me. Like when I watch, prime example, Captain America Winter Soldier, when I watch the choreographics in that movie, specifically the bridge fight, it's amazing. It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. So it's not necessarily that the mall scene didn't need to be in the movie, or I'm just hating on it. It could have been executed better to me. And, you know, it's all about what are you going up against. How does Wonder Woman match up against Marvel movies now? So, Paul?
I think it stacks up just fine. I think it's less clunky than a lot of. I feel like I'm trying to think of certain examples. Captain Marvel was a lot clunkier than this film.
I agree with you on that.
I don't like either of the Infinity War Endgame. I think they're both ugly looking films and are not fun to watch.
Hold on, Rondale.
What is wrong with you today?
Now, I can agree with I can agree with you when you said something about Captain Marvel, but hey, look, I just recently watched
Captain Marvel was the weakest one they came out with in like the last 10 years, bro.
Yeah, look,
you gotta give me something else better than that.
I just recently watched Infinity War and Endgame. I watched them back to back on a Sunday night. And Paul, I don't know what you're talking about.
They would say
something like that
they
again,
would
Paul.
knock me out like NyQuil. They are
Bro,
just
I
the
know
most
this.
boring
I know
films.
I know when Banks says, "Hold on, Rondell." Business is picked up. I know that.
Hey, look, I had said, "Hold on, Rondell," to my boss, and he was just like, "Rondell, who is that?" And I said, "It's you."
It's you, young pappy.
So we see everything that's going on in the mall, right? And we have these robbers that are robbing a jewelry store that is also a black market jewelry store as well. And I'm just like, how the hell is a black market jewelry store and this mall jewelry store? Like, I feel like it could have been a lot better. And then it's like we find out that because of the robbery, it transitions to the Smithsonian, where we find out that Diana, she works there now. She works there in history, and we're also introduced to Barbara, who is played by Kristen Wiig, and she is, in my opinion, like I told Trav, she's the Selena Kyle of this movie.
She is definitely supposed to be a throw up to Selena Kyle. There's no doubt about that.
It's like you could just see it with the hair, the glasses. She's wearing the high heels. She's walked down upon by society. She's the way that men talk to her. Sometimes she doesn't even get attention from men, and it's just this whole transition where it's like you find out that this gem is pretty much Genie from Aladdin, and it grants wishes, but with the wishes that it grants, it takes something from you. Now, how did you guys feel about the plot of the wishing stone being the main item of the movie? Starting with you, Trav.
Well, first off, let me just say, Pedro Pascal is a national treasure at this point.
I agree.
Can the man do anything wrong? So let me just start off by saying he's the best thing in this movie. His acting is just 10 out of 10. Honest, I don't have an issue with it. I have an issue with them making him the stunt. That was stupid. And I also think this was a bad mashup of villains, like plot-wise.
Yeah. I can see that.
DC always picks like the weirdest villain storyline, and I don't know what DC's problem is with doing it, but they suck at doing it, dude. And I don't want to bash Patty Jenkins, because I love Monster. So it's not like Patty Jenkins sucks. I got a problem with Patty Jenkins. Some of the choices, man, are real suspect in my opinion, especially for a quote-unquote like dying franchise as he is, with all the turmoil that they got going on.
Now, see, Trav, the one thing I wanted to bring up is because in the first Wonder Woman movie, there were a total of 3 villains in that movie, with the main villain being Ares. And then in this movie, we had Maxwell and we had Barbara. So I just want to bring up the fact that in a lot of Wonder Woman properties, I had just watched Wonder Woman Bloodlines recently. I watched it before I had actually watched Wonder Woman 1984. And something that I noticed in that movie is the same thing that I see in the live action Wonder Woman films, is that there are a whole lot of villains that Wonder Woman is always fighting. So do you think that that's just one of the things when it comes to Wonder Woman, that all of her villains, they always feel like that they have to team up? Because when you think about it, Wonder Woman is kind of like Superman in a way. So they can't defeat her by themselves. They have to team up. So do you think that that this is an ongoing thing that we'll continue seeing in the Wonder Woman franchise?
I think DC does it for every superhero character they have, minus maybe Shazam. But
Shazam, yeah, it was only one villain in Shazam.
But when you look at all like the Batman movies, you got multiple villains. Yeah, Batman versus Superman had multiple villains, kind of in a way.
Yeah,
I'm I think that's a DC thing.
Okay, yeah, because I'm actually thinking now that you said that. Going all the way back to the 80s Batman movie, like Joker was the only villain in that. And then we get Batman Returns with Penguin and Catwoman and Batman Forever. I guess you're right when you say that. It's just probably a DC thing. D, how did you feel about the Magic Stone being the stone that granted wishes for your most desired thing?
Once again, I don't have a problem with them using that. It kind of actually reminded me of a horror movie called Wishmaster. That's what it kind of reminded me of, where he basically tricks people, but it was just a little more PG. I don't have a problem with it. I have an overall problem with the runtime of the movie and their choices on. I wanted to see more Cheetah. To me, she was by far the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
And she's such an iconic villain. I kind of felt gypped. Like I watched how they put on her her special effects and stuff like that, her actual bodysuit and stuff, and it was kind of cool, and I wanted more of that. The Wish Stone, I think it was a little unbalanced, if you will. It should have had more balance to the movie overall, because it was kind of like, okay, Pedro's gonna go here and he's gonna trick these people, and it's like, what do I need to do to get, to fix myself? And it just felt like he went on and on and on for a long time. So I was more Cheetah. I was super excited. It gave me a reason to check the movie out, and I got her. What was it, like an hour and 45 minutes in when you get her? 40 minutes?
No, man. It's kind of close towards the end of the movie.
I'm thinking 2 hours plus.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
And the Cheetah was the best CGI of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, she looked amazing to me.
Yeah,
I mean, I really liked it.
Yeah, cats should have taken notes on what they were doing.
Too late.
My masterpiece cats.
Are you talking about that Wish song? You want to wish to make cats better?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it could have been
perfect.
executed a little better. I just thought it was like lopsided when it came to him becoming the stone, and it kind of like drug on. That was it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, really.
Do you
I don't
think
have
it
a
was
problem
stupid
with
how she became Cheetah?
No, not necessarily, because it was working off the premise of the stone, but I think it took too long it didn't really build up either. It was like she was human, she had all this stuff, and then she just became Cheetah.
Don't they also make it seem like you can only have one wish, and then
they say that specifically,
and then she got 2 wishes?
No, not actually.
No, she did get 2 wishes. The reason being is because when she made her first wish, she made the wish with the stone, and then when she did the second wish, she did it when Maxwell became the stone. So I guess
does the stone reset?
That's the only thing that I could think of.
So
that's interesting.
The way I read it in the film was that she didn't get a second wish. He just when he takes things from people, instead of taking them from people, he granted them to her instead. So she wasn't getting wishes. He was just deflecting like rage and power and stuff to her.
That's even more stupid than just getting 2 wishes.
Well, Paul, how did you feel about the stone?
Yeah,
I think the stone is kind of a silly MacGuffin, and comics, let's be completely honest, are really stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
I love comics, but they are dumb. And this kind of takes that comic MacGuffin and places it in here. I think they give it a little too much exposition through the middle of the movie. They spend a lot of time explaining it. It's like, don't explain it to me. Just tell me there's a magic wishing rock, and now he's the magic wishing rock, and that's all I need. It was entirely too much. That's all I want.
So I want to play a game.
They spent too much time on that rock, dude. They spent way too much. It was
It's
like he
just
goes
any rock.
here and he goes there. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, like how was he getting to all these places so fast? It's like,
Yo, he was
How
going
did
so fast.
how did his
Oh,
son
well-
just magically appear out the woods? We don't know. We don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you're right. But guys, real quick, Banks, starting with you. What I don't know if you have any insight on it, but at what point does she realize that he is the stone and what's actually going on? Because it's so weird because they aren't like they see him on and off throughout the whole movie, and I didn't really. Why didn't they just stop him? Like what?
So when she sees him in the
Paul, he said
convoy,
Banks.
Huh?
It's like I was about to answer it.
Oh, go
Paul
on, man.
was like,
No,
go ahead,
Go
Paul.
around in a circle, guys.
Yeah.
go
Start.
ahead, Paul Banks. Paul Workman Banks. Go ahead.
I like that. Paul Workman Banks.
Let him
Sounds like a
know,
DC
Paul.
next to
character
be part of
himself.
the family.
That's
Uh,
it. Go ahead, Paul. Start us off.
All right, so I know that when she sees him in the convoy during the desert road chase scene,
Mm-hmm.
she catches up to his car and she asks where the stone is, and he tells her she's looking at it. And then when she goes back to the guy with the book during that whole exposition scene, he
Yeah.
talks about like what it does and where it's been, and I think that's when she pieces it together.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty
Figures
much
it out like Nicolas Cage.
So she basically, I know she was losing her powers, and he had like persuasion over like everybody he came in contact with, right? Something like
she
that?
was only losing her powers because when you make a wish, it takes
Yeah.
something from you. I wanted to bring up because like when she made her wish, even though she might have thought that she wasn't, the most attractive person and whatnot, she had a heart of gold. And when she wanted to be like Diana, she started changing. You know what I'm saying? She started becoming the biggest bulb in the room, as I say. And it's like as the movie progressed, like she lost all of her kindness. Because we see early on she had got some food. She brought leftovers to the homeless guy that stayed in the park, and then remember she ended up beating up the guy that that was catcalling her, the drunk, earlier in the movie, who she was afraid of. She ends up beating him up, and then when the homeless guy sees her, she just like stay out of it. And it's like that's I feel like that too is like when she was starting to transition into Cheetah. I just kind of wish that they had went a better route with her transformation into Cheetah instead of her just making another wish and now she's Cheetah.
Like that's what I mean. I would have liked to see more transformation and stuff like that. It just seemed like they skipped right over it because it's like they cut and then they're at the last place and then she just shows up.
Yeah.
Or she was with him. I know she was with Pedro or Max or whatever his name
Pedro.
is. Yeah, Pedro. I'll call him Oberyn.
I call him man.
You know what I'm saying?
But hey, look, so I want to play a game with you guys real quick because as we know, the wishing stone, it gives you whatever you want, but you have to give up something. So I want each of you to say something that you would wish for, and then one of us has to say what you lose in the process. So starting with you, Trav, what would you wish for if you had a stone?
Why you always start? You come up with these crazy.
Answer the question, Trav.
If you had a stand,
question.
what power would it be? And you always start with me.
Answer the question.
What is the question?
Answer the question. I'm not saying I said it already.
You say what you wish for, and then one of us get to pick what you lose, or we need to make the equivalent of it.
I wish that I would wake up and understand Paul's interest in movies, dude. Because every time I feel like every time I feel like I got him figured out, he pulls a 180 on me, bro. I don't know what he's gonna like or what he's not gonna like anymore, man. I give up. So my wish is
just
to
throw some movies
understand-
at me. I'll tell you what I like.
My wish is to understand Paul. That's it.
That
All right,
animated
and
Sean Connery movie that
That
Paul.
animated-
easy now. Leave Sean
You
Connery
guys weren't supposed to
alone.
watch that.
So
Oh,
okay, so
God.
all right, so guys, what power does Trav? Well, not power, but what does Trav lose because of his wish?
His price would be he wants to understand Paul. His price would be to not understand anybody else. He can only understand. Give him some of that. What is
It's
it?
not
The
worth it,
Twilight Zone.
Bro, I thought you were gonna do like some heartfelt, he doesn't understand himself anymore type stuff.
Hell no.
Hey,
Come on,
I was
Trav.
gonna say
This is a
I was
Banks
gonna
game.
say that Trav would lose all of his equipment, and he would never be able to do any mixing anymore.
Oh yeah, like he loses his skills or something.
Yeah,
he doesn't understand
all his
music.
skill. He
He
loses.
loses the ear.
He loses the ear. All right, Paul.
All right.
All right, Paul. What would you wish for?
Oh. Currently or like all around? Because right now I kind of wish my son wouldn't come in while I was recording.
See, you're not supposed to think too deep. And look, where's
Man,
the
I thought
glitter
that was
force?
Pedro's son right there, bro. I
Where's
was
the
like, he
glitter
came
force
out
at?
of the
Yeah, who is this? Who is this little fellow that has
Good
joined us
God.
Bro,
on tonight's
this is
episode?
Doki Doki right here.
This is Pat Owen. He is my older son, and he needs to go back to watch Glitter Force Doki Doki.
I
And
knew he was watching
play
Doki.
this-
All right.
Well, I was going to get a new chip. Pretty good.
so he had to come interrupt the recording.
All right.
Yo,
That's
why
right.
did it look like Paul tossed him?
He did.
Kinda
He's got to
did.
go.
Yeah, no,
This is the way.
he
Oh.
flew right out this window to my right. It was very amusing. You missed it.
So Paul, what's your wish?
I'm gonna wish for the breakfast sandwich from
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey.
It is a good looking breakfast sandwich.
That is a good looking breakfast sandwich.
Okay, so Paul, if you get this breakfast sandwich,
He loses his
You
taste.
would- yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You would lose your taste.
Man, see now the guy who got the coffee only got burnt by the coffee. Come on.
I was about to say I was gonna say Paul would lose the rest of his hair.
I'll
This
take-
guy Trav. It's like, what you
That's
taking
tough.
shots for, man?
Well, y'all took my whole life. My whole life.
No, we didn't take anything away from you. You didn't have to make the wish. You made the wish, Trav.
Yeah. Tell him go watch that Doki Doki.
So, all right. So, D, what would
I
you
like-
wish for?
Probably for you to stop calling me Rondell.
Ron.
Hold up, for me to start or stop?
Why would he want you
Okay.
to
See what he
start?
says.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
why would anybody want him to start?
so if I stop calling you Rondale, then you would lose all of your hair.
I was about to say the luscious locks.
You would lose the
Oh,
locks.
Then I wish to be the stone.
Bro, I-
No.
No,
I got.
No,
Hey, hold on. I got
I
one
take that
better.
back. I take him losing the hair back. When you make that wish, you forget everything that you've seen and read about One Piece.
I was about to say you lose all your One Piece
Lord,
marks.
of course, JoJo. Oh, come on, Jonathan.
Hey, D would walk into the living room and he'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
Jesus.
All 96 volumes or whatever it is that he's
Yeah.
got.
Be walking around useless. Thanks,
Okay,
Banks.
so-
And what about you, Banks?
All right, my wish would be that I would be the real life Izuku Midoriya.
Oh, and I was about to say, you know what? You know what you would be? You'd be the world's #1 villain.
Ooh, I like that.
Who?
That's right.
Coda?
No, come on. That would be your price.
Yeah, that would be his price. He has the powers of Coda.
Hold on. Oh, so I'm Midoriya, but I would be the world's #1 villain. Oh,
Yeah, you
that's
would-
not fair.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it.
Hey,
Well, you went after my hair and then after my One Piece. So.
I mean, essentially, you're just getting
Oh,
Wonder Woman from this movie, or
Ooh,
you're getting cheated from this movie. She
Ah,
wants to be Wonder Woman.
yeah,
She
Yeah,
becomes the villain.
that's a
I
great
guess.
point, Paul.
I guess if I become the villain, then I can take whatever I want. I feel like if I'm gonna be a villain,
hold on,
I'm
Ron.
gonna be like Cottonmouth from Luke Cage. That's the type of villain that I want to be.
That's a dope
Man.
choice.
Yeah, he's a pretty sweet villain.
Now was
Sorry.
Wonder Woman the real villain? Though.
Possibly because she made the wish. She's what started this. We see that Steve Trevor comes back, but it's not Steve Trevor because like when the trailers came out, I just kept asking myself like, how does he come
How
back?
is he
Like,
in this movie?
yeah, how is he in the 80s? Like, did she use the Dragon Balls to revive
Bro,
this man?
Is
And
Chris
then-
Pine so much of a star that you have to somehow make a way for him to be in this film? I mean,
I don't-
come on.
I'm
I
fine
don't
with
know.
him coming back in the film. I just wish they wouldn't have put him in someone else's body. Just
Yeah,
like,
like,
again,
it seems like
That's
weird.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
just like over-explaining The Rock. Don't do that. Just
Mhm.
now he's back. End of story.
Exactly. That's all they had to do.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
there's
all
some
they had
stuff
to
they
do.
could have just. Yeah, they
doesn't
could have
it-
just simplified a lot of things. In this
Doesn't it
movie. I
make the
don't know.
ending even worse when she has the awkward conversation with him?
But
Oh,
I mean, she
yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah,
the
no
awkward
idea.
conversation with that guy anymore.
It's just like,
What if
it's-
when she's walking away, the dude's body just collapses from behind the wall?
so now-
I'll always be here. Then it's like
now,
thud.
This is my thing because it's like the guy's body that Steve is in, he's unconscious the entire time. So it kind of has that supernatural feel to it, where it's like in Supernatural where the demons take over somebody's body. The people on Supernatural, they can still see everything. So scratch that similarity.
But do
But-
they have sex with those bodies?
Some of them do, and they can see everything. But the point that I was trying to get to before I brought up the supernatural stuff is that this man could have possibly had a family. Like, what if this man was the boss of a corporation and like now he's gone missing for several days and nobody knows where he is? And it's also crazy too that Diana, she only sees Steve, but who does everybody else see? Do they see this man or do they see
the
Steve?
man.
Like what if
Mm.
what if this man's wife has been looking for him? You got, I mean, picture this. It's the 80s. So it's like his wife doesn't know what happened to her husband. And then she sees her husband with this beautiful woman, this goddess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt sorry for that man. And
the whole
all
point of the
he
movie
gets
is to not ask questions at this point. You
All
just
he
don't
gets
question
is-
anything they do.
all he gets is an appearance at the end of the movie and tell Diana hi. And yeah, you got a
Nice
nice
shirt. Nice shirt.
nice outfit. So like, how did you, I mean, I know Trav already said something about it, but going to you, Dave, like, how did you feel about the whole Steve Trevor inside of another man's body?
That's just not. I don't know why they didn't. Why did they feel like they had to do something over the top almost instead of just having him like, appear? Like what was? Why didn't they just do him like a genie or something? Like he just shows up. And it's
Dude,
like,
if we
oh,
knew-
how'd I get here? Why did he have to possess somebody? He's not a
Yeah.
demon. I don't know why they went with that. To be honest, it was kind of strange. I mean, this isn't Freaky Friday, bro. Like, what are they doing? I don't know. This movie was kind of all over the place for me, to be completely honest. So that just added to it when I was like, oh, he's in somebody else's body, and everybody sees that guy, but her is like kind of weird. And she's like an Amazon from like a distant place, so it's like her interpretation of how people act anyway is kind of off. Like Tarzan acted when he first got the, it's like, hi. It's just weird.
Mhm. Paul,
Paul?
same question to you.
Like I said, it was probably the most unnecessary thing in the film. Just
Yep.
make Steve be in the movie. It's a
Mhm.
magic wishing rock. It could just bring Steve back. And I don't even care if she's the only one who can see him and she's just
Right.
walking around with invisible Steve. That's fine. Like,
Yeah,
not-
it's just.
yeah, it's not
Wow.
exactly what I want, but it's still kind of a step up than him being put in somebody else's body. It seems like a detail that is not worth the storytelling. They do some interesting things with it, but again, you always come back to, but why is he there?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all I'll say is that when Wonder Woman 3 comes out, he'll be back in it again somehow. I don't know how, but he'll be back. Or
I know.
or it'll be
I know
his
why
son.
he's there though.
It'll be his son or his grandson that looks just like him, because we've seen this. It'll be just like Captain
I thought
America.
that's what they were gonna do.
So she would have ended. So
Yeah,
she would have
sure,
ended up
yeah.
sleeping with
His
the
grandson.
grandpappy and the grandson.
That's what
Is what
I
they're
mean. They do that in TV shows and stuff all the time.
We saw it
I
in the
thought that's the
Captain
route they were
America
gonna
movie.
go.
Bro.
Well, why couldn't she have just met somebody that looked identical to him? That would have been simpler than what they did, I think. Like, oh, you look just like somebody I used to know. I mean, they do that all the time in movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or not all the time, but I've seen it.
Yeah, my problem is once you introduce magic, just say magic.
Yeah.
It's like the Force. How did that happen? It's the Force. Shut up.
Force.
So let me ask y'all this: Wonder Woman 3. Do you think that it's going to take place in the 90s, the early 2000s, or it's going to take place in the present time? D, what are your thoughts?
Why did you? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's gonna take place in 2010, bro. That's my bold prediction for Wonder Woman 3. If it ever comes hot off the print, that is. I don't know if they're gonna.
They've already greenlit it.
Yeah, they already confirmed this coming out.
It sounds good. I'm not believing nothing until I see that trailer drop. Nowadays, people cancel stuff out of the blue. Nah, but that's my bold prediction. Give me. Okay, so the first one took place in
1918.
And then this one took place in
84.
70s? 84.
You know the name of the movie? That's when it
It's-
took
it's-
place.
Yeah, it's the name of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
Twi-
movie.
Hey. Yeah, just give me 2010, man. It's a bold prediction.
Paul,
I'll sleep.
My hope
He's
is they
gonna
just.
outbid me.
I'm gonna say my hope is they just put it in modern day. I'm more interested to see what she's doing post Justice League than I am anything else, because now she's out to the world and people have seen her, and I think that's a lot more interesting than her having to try to keep her identity on the down low through the whole movie. And once you start entering into the 90s, you start getting into more open surveillance, so it's going to be a lot harder for her to keep her identity and be Wonder Woman. So then half the movie is going to be them explaining how she's not seen by cameras. Nah, no thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of something that she used her tiara to get rid of the cameras, and something that I saw somebody say online was that from 1918 all the way until she reveals herself in Batman versus Superman, she was hidden. Like nobody had ever seen her. She was the blur. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it would just, no matter what place it takes place in, it's always going to be an issue where she has to hide her identity.
Yeah, and like I said, mostly I'm just not trying to see a movie where they have to spend half the runtime explaining why she wasn't seen.
In 1984, they didn't have to explain that. She just threw the tiara at the camera and that was it.
But at the same time, 1984 is not as connected into networks the way it becomes later in the 90s.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the 90s are extreme, so I get what you're saying. Trav, what about you?
I got the real answer. I got the real hot take.
I hope that
gives
you
a
say what I
shit?
think you're going to say.
Who gives a shit? That's the answer.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say $1.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at y'all like we were on the prices right. I was like, these guys are about to underbid me like crazy. $1.
This guy. For me, I wanted to take place in the year 2007, and I wanted to take place in Atlanta. And I want to see Wonder Woman in some baggy clothes. I want to see her in the clubs and whatnot. I want to see her at Roscoe's, chicken and waffles. Like, because Atlanta was the thing back in 2007. Like, I want to see her go to a club and Lean With It, Rock With It is playing, and she's doing the stanky leg and all that stuff. This is what I want to see in my Wonder Woman movie.
More
Trav,
important question. Go ahead. I was just gonna ask. More importantly to me, guys, where do you see them playing her villains? Do you think she'll have, since either they're gonna go use that Trevor guy again, or do you think they're gonna have her have a another hero like a co-star this time around in the third movie? And two-parter, who will be her counterpart in this movie? I feel like they have to add somebody. And who will be the villain for it? Paul, you start us off. I mean, this is shot in the dark, really. There's no telling what they're going to do. What do you think?
I don't know. I guess that all kind of depends on what DC is going to be throwing at us here in the next couple of years, because they just announced that they were going to be throwing a ton of stuff onto HBO Max over like the next 3 years. So I'm curious what we're going to be getting out of that. Team ups. I mean, I'd like to see her do a team up with the Flash. I really like Ezra Miller as the Flash too. So if he stays around, I'd like to see that.
Villain?
Are we talking team
Yeah,
ups or just villains? Or
I want both. It was a two-parter. Who do you think her counterpart will be, and who do you think the villain will be of the movie? I just see this movie. It's the third Wonder Woman movie. She's not going to be solo in that. There's no way.
And
No
the
way.
problem is they've used all three of her most high-profile villains.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Did
well,
they
not
kill
for
Cheetah? Did she die?
No,
Or
she
did
didn't
didn't
pull her
die.
out. She did pull her out, right?
Yeah,
You
Pull
still
her
got
out of the
Jack.
water.
because when they're
Yeah.
doing all the everybody taking back their wishes, they did a shot of her and she didn't look like Cheetah anymore.
Yeah, she lost her ability.
Because-
Okay,
That's-
I remember
that's
now.
also super dumb too.
Yeah.
See, but I like that.
Trav, the
No.
villain?
Happen.
Yeah, crap.
Do you, I mean, that's
To
what
me,
I'm,
team-
that's what I'm
dude,
asking.
honestly, to me, if they're smart, they should really just go the Superman route and build something between them. We can get rid of Chris Pine as the love
Mhm.
interest. We can get
Mhm.
something going on between Lois Lane and her and Superman, and got a little thing going on like we've gotten previously. Because I don't feel like Wonder Woman needs a love interest anyway. So if you want to tease something, there's that.
I
But
think. Mhm.
but to me, I mean, I think the smartest thing to do is to bring in a team up with Superman to take on, you know,
Solomon Grundy.
No, Solomon Grundy's not that.
Bored on a Monday.
I mean,
That's
well,
right.
they could go back to doing, you know, the whole gods and monsters stuff.
Yeah, we
And-
we can go back in the New God stuff. I wouldn't mind that.
True. That's true. That's a good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I would have rather them do. But Banks, finish it off.
Well-
Co-star or counterpart? I'll say hero and villain. What do you think they're gonna do with it?
Well, like I had said earlier, I just recently watched Wonder Woman Bloodlines, and that was a take off of her friendship with, I can't remember the character's name, but she eventually becomes Silver Swan, which is one of Wonder Woman's villains.
Right.
So I think that would be a good take where it's like she teams up with maybe Silver Swan's mom, because in Bloodlines, that is what happened. It's like they kind of were a team, and then she ends up dying, and then Silver Swan's just like, curse you, you know, we let you into our house, because it's like they kind of had like a sister feel
Yeah.
to the both of them. So
Yeah, what's her name? Vanessa?
it's Silver. It might be. I know their villain name is Silver Swan, and she's one of the many Silver Swans, just like there are.
Yeah.
There,
No, I
there are
just think
multiple-
I think the one you're talking about is like Veronica or Vanessa or something. from
something
the
like
movie.
that. But I mean, it's the same thing like with Cheetah. Like I believe that there's been 4 Cheetahs as well. So maybe we might see somebody else play Cheetah in a Wonder Woman film. Who knows? But you know, before we go ahead and wrap this thing up, the one thing that I wanted to bring up last was we got to see that cameo at the end of the movie. We got to see the original OG Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, and I thought that it was a badass scene. At first, when they were showing it, I thought it was just Diana walking in the streets, which, I mean, technically she is Diana.
Right.
But when I saw her and when she turned around, I was just like, oh, okay, like that's awesome. That's awesome that, you know, she made a cameo in the film, and she was the original user of the gold armor that we later see Diana in. And, you know, before I said get more on Linda Carter, we really didn't talk much about the gold armor and how when she finally put it on, she looked like Goldar from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh man, she looks like Goldar. The curse breaks off of him, you know, like a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing.
Beauty and the
Wow.
Beast type of deal.
I didn't even
Yeah.
think about
Costume
Goldar
design
until you
is
said that.
so bad in this movie.
Why did it look like? Did it remind anybody of Foil the whole time? Cheetah's like banging it out. It just looked like Foil after a while. I was like, ah.
I don't know. I don't
DC.
know. And we also forgot to talk about the invisible jet scene. Like I thought.
Oh my god! And the fact that this guy can fly planes, and that should be so far advanced that he would have no idea what's going on.
Hey,
It's magic.
hey, he was, yeah, it's
It's
magic.
not magic.
Magic. It's magic.
But I mean, but that scene was dope though, with all the fireworks, and then it's like throughout the entire movie, like there are no hints at all that it is the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no hints that they're in July
They
at
went
all.
they went through Christmas, 4th of July. They went through it all, bro.
Yeah, they were at Christmas by the end of the movie. like, did a whole year go by? So you're telling me that this unconscious man was with Diana for several months before he finally got his body back?
I guess so. I mean, can we talk? She also lassoed lightning bolts and whipped her way through the skies.
That was so cool.
You see, Paul?
That was so cool.
Again, like you just talked about, 1974 Superman, sure, it works. 2020 Wonder Woman,
it works even more.
Yeah, it would for you.
It was amazing.
But you can't tell me, you know for a fact.
And goofy, and I loved it.
The flying CGI is so bad.
I don't care.
But you're admitting it's bad, but you just don't care, right?
I will always forgive bad CGI if I'm having a good time. Every single time. Plenty of movies have bad CGI that you guys probably forgive, that you're just not going to want to admit that you forgive it because you love that movie.
Did it
You
have
mean like Harry Potter?
Came out, though.
So
What's
Paul,
that?
let me ask you this. So, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, did you enjoy that movie?
No, I didn't enjoy the movie.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to ask because I know you enjoy a lot of things.
I do. I enjoy a lot of trash. I am very.
I don't feel like the CGI was bad when it came out, though. It just didn't.
No, the second one was bad when they did the animalities.
It's a bad
that was
movie.
really
Nobody
bad.
liked it.
Not the first one. I thought the first one was good.
First one was good.
Bit that
First
they
one's a good movie.
used. They didn't really use a lot of it though.
Yeah.
It was like in a few scenes, like 6 scenes.
Yeah,
So-
and for the time, the first one, they gave enough money to the CGI to make it look passable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the costume design was nasty. So, I mean,
Back to the Linda Carter stuff. Would you guys mind seeing her appear in another Wonder Woman film? I know, D, with the question that you had earlier, where you said if there is a possible team up, like, could you see that being a team up in the third Wonder Woman film since she's still alive?
are
Not
you starting
Linda Carter,
with me?
but the character that she portrays in the film. Could you see that?
Linda Carter was awesome back in the day. I went back and watched a bunch of her clips, and yeah, guys, we know
That's a
where I'm
good show.
going with this.
That's
yeah,
a good show.
something like that, Paul. You know,
She's
when she did a
still
little
hot.
twirl thing.
Yeah, dude.
But Banks, I think it's a
Still hot.
stretch though. Yeah, oh yeah, no question. But I think it's just a stretch. I really wish they didn't use up Cheetah so quick because it's like, now how do you get her back? And she's kind of like a mainstay with Wonder Woman as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Team ups. I guess I didn't get a chance to answer the question, I guess. Who doesn't? Maybe they do play with Wonder Woman and Aquaman in certain comic sets, and they're kind of like at odds in certain times and stuff like that. So maybe Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and I don't know about
that.
Mhm.
So that way you don't have to see Amber Heard.
I'll say that for all of Justice League's faults, Wonder Woman and Aquaman's butting heads was really well written.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's, that's something that they do, and I think they could use that. And I don't know about a villain right now, guys. I ain't got nothing. I don't know what you would do with that.
I mean, Wonder
right
Woman
now.
doesn't even have strong villain list anyway, so
Yeah,
the
and I
fact
mean,
that they're throwing 2 to 3 villains in a movie, well, you're gonna go.
yeah, they're just kind of using them up, right?
Let's make Linda Carter the villain.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's.
Hey,
So that's
don't
what
put
you're
it
going
past
for,
them.
Paul?
I
That's what you're
think
going
that
for?
could be really interesting because then you could get some good parallel storylines.
Okay. I mean, like, I can see it now where it's just like she's not fit to be Wonder Woman and she needs to give up everything and give it to somebody else that is more fitting to be Wonder Woman. So I mean, I could see that. Trav, what about you? How do you feel about seeing Linda Carter in future Wonder Woman movies?
Why?
Why not?
I'm cool with the random cameo and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I
Like,
think it was a
you know,
one-off
Stan Lee
cameo.
always got like his cameo or whatever. So I mean, Gail Gadot's kids were also at the end of the film, the 2 little girls. So I'm cool with cameo stuff. As far as making her like a significant plot story, I mean, why?
That's
Why not?
tough. That's
Yeah, why
a tough
not?
cookie.
I mean, God, with how horrible this was written, I could see them doing it.
Well, I guess if you bring back the Wish Stone, I mean,
It would be like
called the Magic Wishing Rock.
That's right, Magic Wishing Rock.
Magic Wish Rock.
It would be like when the Flash series brought back John Wesley Shipp to play Barry Allen's dad.
I thought that was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
And he has a nice significant role through like the first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And
I
then we
think if
saw
you
what
play it
happened to
right,
the
it could be
Flash.
interesting.
Then
Yeah,
we
he
saw
ends
what
up
happened to the
killed.
Flash. It's been trash.
Yeah, you know what? That's great. Yeah, because he appears on that show as 3 different characters: the '90s Flash, Jay Garrick, and the Flash's Henry Allen. So that's cool. When that first came out that he was going to be Barry's father on that show, I thought that was cool. That you had the original Flash being in a significant role to the new Flash. So like I really like Paul's idea about bringing back Linda Carter and having her be the villain. I kind of get a Charlie's Angel Full Throttle vibe when Demi Moore came back and she was like the angel. So I mean, I can see it working. So with that being said, and this is the final question, 1 out of 10, starting with you, D, what do you give this film?
Say again, Banks.
You heard me.
No, what'd you say, bro?
What are you giving the movie, bro?
1 out of 10.
Really? Come on. 10 being the best, give me 6.
Okay.
I mean, it's just an overall grade. It's not one particular thing, and I think that's the problem with it. It was just like the runtime for one is atrocious for whatever they're doing. They spent a lot of time on the Wish Stone. I would have liked them to cut that down and give me more Cheetah. I mean, Wonder Woman and Cheetah could have had some badass fights if they had,
The fight was all right. The fight
White
was
House
all
fight.
right.
Yeah, but it was. I could have done without the gold armor. Okay,
I agree.
Gold armor. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking like Wonder Woman straight up versus Cheetah. They could have been tearing stuff up, but they
Not even
basically
just
had her
that.
standing in a. Yeah.
They
Go ahead,
built
Trav.
up this. They built up this armor all movie, and then she just tore it to shreds, and it meant nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't even a fight, bro. She was swinging around destroying that armor, and then she just tosses it off, and then it's like it could have been better. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that armor was standing up to the army from 300. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, come on. Why is she just destroying it like that? But it could have been a little bit better. I'm hoping. I mean, y'all said they greenlit the third one already, so please give me something more. I'm a huge DC cartoon and comic book fan. Like, give me what I want. Stop playing.
Okay.
Straight up.
Paul, what about you? 1 out of 10.
I'm personally going an 8.
Mhm.
I recognize the movie's flaws. The movie has flaws,
Mhm.
and some of them are a little hard to get over in retrospect, but they don't ruin the fun for me. I think the movie is fun. It's cheesy. It is a superhero film, and it reminds me much more of Shazam than it does of like Man of Steel. And
Right.
I think that's a major positive. And Shazam is probably my favorite superhero film.
Yeah, so you like the lighter tone of things, and that's something that we did see in the movie. So, and it was very campy. So, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Trav, what about you? 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not gonna totally disrespect it. It blows my mind how amazing the DC animated film series is, and they can't even make a movie half as good outside of Shazam as they can cartoons. So I give it a 6 out of 10. It's better than the first one, but we still get a cheesy end dialogue for the villain, like to defeat the villain. We still get that cheesy dialogue. That whole thing was stupid where she couldn't break through the force of the whirlwind, but she could somehow get his leg, and they don't even explain how she was able to lasso his leg and get through. But whatever. This movie's just got way too many plot holes.
It has too much going on.
Way too many plot holes.
They were doing too much. It's simple. They were doing way too much. But go ahead.
I give it a 6 out of 10. It's not the worst DC movie in the last 10 years, but geez, man. The only thing I'm looking forward to with DC is Shazam and Black Adam and what they're going to do with Shazam. Everything else to me is just passable. I'm good.
Yeah, for me, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Like I said earlier, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was better than the first one. Like Trav said, it does have its plot holes. I feel like that the movie could have been amazing, especially with the trailers that we saw. The trailer, they hyped it up. Like I really thought it was gonna be like this sweet movie, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when it comes to 80s stuff, it's like I love 80s stuff. Like me and Trav, like we talked about this with American Horror Story. It's like it was an 80s theme with what was it, 1986, 1987, and it throughout the entire thing it had that 80s vibe, but it's just that ending, like it went on too long, and then like it started losing that 80s feel to it. So I just wish that we would have saw more 80s themed stuff in this movie compared to what they showed us in the trailer, where it just seemed like it was just minimal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel. I hope that it's going to be better than
you
this
love
one.
your sequels, though. So
yeah, I love my sequels. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about this. And with that being said, Paul, thank you for joining us tonight on the review for Wonder Woman 1984.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Well,
it was a blast, Paul.
It always
And
is.
before we go, tell everybody in social media land where they can find you and Oscar Worsty at.
All right. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd. That's letter BOXD at Father of the Fear across all platforms. You can find the Oscar Worsty Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you find podcasts. And you can find us on Twitter at Oscar Worsty Pod and on Facebook at the Oscar Worsty Podcast.
Thank you, Paul. Mr. Workman. D, tell them where they can find you at.
You can find me, your boy, at Rebellious _D23 at Instagram.com.
I'll make sure that I do the Instagram.com when I'm looking you up. Like it's like a Tribe Called Quest. You got to type in the whole entire thing.
Whole thing.
And Trav, let them know where they can find you at.
You know, the Trash Master is here, man. Come get all your needs met at a ZK Audio on Instagram, or you can come get these trash hands at on PSN at TRAVIOSZK.
Thank you. And you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji _Banks on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me on Facebook by typing in Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person that pops up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. And make sure that you follow all of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe this video so that way that you can continue to keep up with your boys and have a good time with us. Thank you, everybody that has been keeping up with us and hitting that like button on all of our videos and subscribing to us, because we are hoping that the YouTube will continue to grow. Continue to grow. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. And
hey,
we
need a magic wishing rock.
Oh, I got it.
Don't we all need a
I
magic
am the wishing stone.
No, I don't want one, because if we have one, then we're all gonna lose stuff. Like Trav, you're gonna lose all your equipment. D's gonna lose one piece, and then I mean, my wish really isn't that bad. So I mean,
I asked for a sandwich.
And he lost his
but you lose your taste. I mean, you won't be able to eat anything. I mean, you can eat, you just won't be able to taste anything.
Wow,
You can pretend.
how bad would that be? That'd be so weird. You're like being a jellyfish.
So with that being said, thank you everybody for checking us out. If you have anything that you want to say in the comments, let us know. If you have any recommendations, let us know in the comments. And like I said, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and this video. Pinkies up. Peace.
Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and get notified every time we upload a new one by subscribing and ticking the bell icon. You can also listen to the full episode by searching for Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to help support more great content like this, be sure to check us out on Patreon. We'll have the link posted in the description below. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.